All right.
Okay.
Okay. Since we talk to each other all the time, this feels a bit formal.
भाई, audio
So I'm
डाले
going to
क्या?
take a
घर पे आ रहा है?
minute into making this seem as organic.
Today they are also equally part of my journey. As journalists, they have been supporting me. They have critiqued my work. They have helped me grow in my craft. My peers, my directors, of course you, Sanjay, all my directors, and the producers who have given me this beautiful opportunity of giving me these wonderful roles that I was able to portray in the cinema, and especially, being the voice of Indian strong women on cinema. I think that is something that I've always chosen to do consciously or subconsciously. It always came into my lap and I grabbed it. Even your film, Kabhi Alvida Na Kehna. It was different, it was challenging, but I think and in my career.
Let's take you back, Rani, though, to your childhood. You come from, of course, a film family. But I know you have a really special bond with your family, with your mom and dad, and your childhood is full of stories I've heard of. It's full of love, joyousness, craziness, Durga Pujas, the whole enchilada. What was it like let me take you back to being the young Rani Mukerji. What did that feel like at that point of time?
I think that time it was more about, being in a very humble Bengali family. Like my dad and mom tried to make ends meet. I used to see them struggle through their days. There were times when my mom was not able to buy me a particular thing that she really wanted to buy for me because of certain challenges that came with not being economically very, very sound. But I saw my mom go through those days with so much of happiness, with that bright smile and that laughter of hers. And it never came in the way of our happiness, and that's something that I've imbibed from her, that whatever the circumstances are, whatever the situations are, one has to smile through and, go forward. But what has been always very important for me is the support and the love that I've got from my family. That's my mom, my dad, my brother.
I'm a fan of your craft, but I'm an absolute fan of your mom's. She is, for everyone here, I have to say, she's one of the most entertaining people I have met on planet Earth. And please, if I forget, I have an anecdote about Krishna Auntie and Kuch Kuch Hota Hai that will always remain in the inner recesses of my mind. Apart from being a compassionate, empathetic mother, wife, and has been a daughter and sister, but she is hilarious.
Yes, she is.
And you recently celebrated her 75th birthday.
Yes, I did.
And you told me she was refusing to divulge her age to you. She refused to tell you how old she was.
Yes, yes.
And you had to go back, ask her sisters, ask her family, and calculate that she's actually turning 75. And apparently she refuses to acknowledge your age as well.
Yes. Yes, she does.
So we have a special image of that special celebration of you and your mom on her 75th, and I'd love to share that with everyone, all our friends of the media.
Of course.
Let's have a look.
Really got the picture?
Let's have a look. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was just recently. I had the pleasure and privilege of attending this celebration, Rani's mom, Krishna Auntie's 75th, and she was as radiant, as happy, and as crazy as she always is. But when I talk about mom and dad, I have such visuals and such amazing memories of Ram Uncle and Krishna Auntie, and I want everyone to just see a quick journey of theirs through the years. Let's have.
I think they saw through my brother. I think with me it was very clear they were wanting to get me married at a very young age.
Oh dear.
Yeah, but I think destiny had other plans for me. With the offer that came for Raja Ki Aayegi Baraat, I think my mum just told me that, Salim uncle, who is a family friend, who's offered you the film, why don't you take it up and see how it goes? And I think behind that ask or that want of my mum's, I never realized that probably my mum was finding a way to make probably the financial situation in my house better. Right. Because they knew that if I do well in this field, maybe things would be better. But
better.
Probably at that point of time, I didn't see it from that angle. But I think what made sense to me was that my mom said, why don't you take it up? Because at that point of time, as teenagers, we were wanting to take up a particular profession. You know, we want to probably take, say, interior designing or law, and we're just confused as teenagers. At that point, I just thought it was very nice of my mom to say that try this out. If it doesn't work out, you can go back to your studies, and you can always go back to doing what you wanted to do.
Raja Ki Aayegi Barat, I remember, and I have something interesting to say about Raja Ki Aayegi Barat, which is very defining for you. That debut film, that performance, that power-packed performance, welcomed you into mainstream cinema. While the movie wasn't a thunderous success or wasn't a success, but what did happen is that you made a solid mark, and what followed after that was a result of that strong performance. Before we talk about Raja Ki Aayegi Barat, let's have a look. The initial close-up that you saw of Rani coming out and saying Raja Ki Aayegi, and she does one gesture like this. I got a call, 8 leading ladies had said no to me for Kuch Kuch Hota Hai. I had become like the most rejected first-time filmmaker because nobody wanted to do that part of Tina. I was trying very hard to convince them that it's pivotal to the film, it's important, it's a really crucial part. Nobody. All those 8 girls, and I remember each one of their names, and I thanked them that they said no. To me, I got a call one evening from none other than Aditya Chopra, who called me. He said, have you seen this new girl in this trailer of this film called Raja Ki Aayegi Barat? It's this song. She comes out and she does a gesture. This girl is a big star. So I was like, okay. I went and had a look, and I said, she's a very pretty girl. And I went and met her, and of course the rest is history.
Yes.
The irony here is that it was actually Adi who called me and recommended me to you.
Yes.
And do you remember that meeting?
I remember the meeting with you, of course.
Yeah.
But I think Raja Ki Aayegi Barat has to be one of those moments in my life where truly, Karan, when I look back, I really don't know what I was doing. I was just following my mother's instruction.
Yeah.
I said, my mom wants me to do it, I have to do it. And because I'm doing it, I have to do it to the best of my ability. And whatever was best that I could do, I did for the film.
Yeah.
But what I didn't know was the kindness that was shown to me by, say, Adi, you, Shah Rukh, Amir. You all at the same time probably saw this, and you all thought that I was okay enough to be part of your films.
Amir brings me to Ghulam.
Yes.
So what happened with Raja Ki Aayegi Barat? I, of course, saw this close-up, and I was thinking about, because I was still in the midst of being rejected.
Yeah.
So I was still like thinking that this could be my backup option. I'll see. I'll get a few more rejections, but this is not about me. I remember Ghulam. And you got signed, and the one thing in your favor for me was that you had this big Amir Khan film.
Right.
And no one realized then that that one song from that Amir Khan film and your presence in that film, and of course the film itself, is going to break ground and create and be the beginning of your stardom. That song, Aati Kya Khandala, I've heard you even sang it on a plane only because nobody knew that you were the leading lady. Is that true?
No, I think we were going for the movie premiere or something.
Those days there were no promotions.
There were no promotions. I think there were only premieres, and I think somebody asked me in the plane to sing a song.
And you sang Aati Kya Khandala in a plane?
Yeah.
The plane was not going to Khandala, but
obviously not.
Yeah.
I think it was going to Delhi, and if I'm not mistaken, it was Bhavna Auntie from the media. I don't know if she's there today.
Bhavna Auntie asked you to sing a song?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Bhavna Auntie.
Well, I
was actually sleeping on a lap with full oil in my hair, and I remember...
Later we'll discuss why you were sleeping on Bhavna Auntie's lap. Not because this is a live YouTube show. We'll have that chat later. Bharti Auntie's here, though. I can see her. Sorry, same generation of media, so I can say that to you, Bharti. You're a dear friend. Aati Kya Khandala happened. But the one thing we have to address, and it's the elephant in the room.
Yes.
They changed your voice.
Yeah.
And what were your thoughts and feelings at that time?
I think as a newcomer, you don't have much of a choice, because it was a really big thing for me to be able to do a film with Amir and opposite Amir, because he was one of the superstars then. So when Amir actually, which I learned later from Vikram, who's my director, that actually it was a decision taken by probably Vikram, Mukerji and Amir, but they made Amir become the bad cop, so to speak. And Amir kind of explained to me that, for films we have to sacrifice certain things for the best of the film, for the best of the movie, and probably your voice is not apt for the character or the role. And then he asked me who my favorite actress was, and I, without blinking, I said Sridevi. And he gave me an example how Sridevi's voice was dubbed in a lot of her films, but it didn't stop her from being the star that she became. So with that logic, he said, you know, Rani, you must surrender to whatever is best for the film, and you know, we think that your voice should be dubbed. And it was a little
Upsetting?
upsetting for me, but obviously I couldn't show the fact that I was upset, because you need to be a team player whenever you're part of a film.
Absolutely.
And I think as actors, as technicians, we need to be part of a team. You know, if somebody asks us for something, we have to be able to do it. And even if there are personal, say, disappointments, it doesn't matter as long as the intent is true for the film.
Correct.
And they went ahead and they dubbed my voice. But what was beautiful, Karan, which I have to tell everybody here, is that I really owe this to Karan. We were shooting for the trailer of Kuch Kuch Hota Hai. I'm getting teary-eyed.
Oh.
And
I will come kiss you. I remember that day. We were shooting just so that you can compose yourself, I just said it. There was a teaser at that time. Again, it was Aditya Chopra's idea. I think he's such a part of my entire journey, Rani's journey, consciously and subconsciously. He gave me the idea of that teaser where Rani's sitting with baby Anjali and where she says, Aaj main tumhe, if anyone remembers, there was a teaser. In those days, there was no such thing as teasers, but we shot this teaser against blue screen.
And I was on a swing.
Or rather, it was just a blue screen because we didn't know what VFX was then.
Yeah, and you made me wear a white churidar.
White salwar
as in I was the
kameez.
ghost over there as well.
And where she says, आज मैं तुम्हें कहानी सुनाने वाली हूँ. इस कहानी में एक लड़का है, लड़की है. दोनों लड़ते थे, झगड़ते थे, फिर भी एक दूसरे के best friend से. And then there was a line, फिर क्या हुआ? And she says, फिर कुछ कुछ हुआ. And that was the thing.
And then you introduced Rahul and Anjali.
Yeah.
So I remember at that shooting, you came up to me and you said, Rani, are the people the people dubbing your voice in Gulam? And I said, yeah. So he said, do you have a problem with dubbing, with your quintessential way of talking? And I said, no, I don't have a problem with dubbing. You said, did you dub your first film? I said, of course I dubbed my first film. So he said, I love your voice. The way you said it that time. And I still remember that clearly. He said, I love your voice and you will dub for my film. And thanks to you, Karan, that I was able to retain my voice.
No, you have such a beautiful voice, and everyone knows that Rani Mukerji's distinct voice is one of the big parts of your amazing performances. And I never understood, because you know my dad, I still remember we were sitting and we were got a call कि distributors बोल रहे हैं. Firstly, whatever that meant to me at that time, because distributors बोल रहे हैं कि voice बदलना चाहिए, because audience accept नहीं करे. ऐसे वो तो नई आई है, audience जानती नहीं है कि वो कौन है अभी. They're still settling into knowing her. What I and my father also said, ये क्या पागलपन है, we are not changing, किसी की आवाज क्यों बदले हम, like you know. And my father then gave me an anecdote. मुझे बोला गया था अमित जी की आवाज बदलो अग्निपथ में, और देखो क्या हो गया, मैं नहीं बदलूंगा किसी की आवाज. So my father,
no, but you know,
he had gone on another tangent.
You know, we are joking about it today, but your decision as a young filmmaker, it was your first film, and you could have easily be swayed with the pressure that came on you, but you stood your ground, and that's why he's Karan Johar.
No, I mean that.
And he stood his ground, and he believed in my voice, he believed in me, and I got to retain my voice in all my films.
And that began...
Because if you hadn't Karan, a lot of my films, my voice would not be part of my...
I think you were destined for the greatness that you have achieved, irrespective of a voice or no voice. It's those eyes, Rani, that no one can go beyond. And the fact that even today, and I'm taking a minor digression to say that fact that even today you keep evolving your craft speaks volumes of your understanding. And the one thing that I've noticed, the one actor I saw do that was Sridevi ji. When I remember seeing her after she came back after 15-year sabbatical, when she came
English
with Ishq Vishk.
English
English, I'm calling it. Clearly losing my brains these days. In English, and I remember seeing that she had understood the syntax of our times. And I see that you do very few films, which we must talk about, that you have to do many more. But every time I watch you, I feel like you've evolved, you've updated your energy and your craft on screen, and that speaks volumes about your understanding of just cinema and not just performance. Going back, there were some very, and I think it's lesser discussed, but there were some kind of brave roles that you did take on that were progressive in nature. Your character in Hum Tum, your character as Maya in Kabhi Alvida. These were actually progressive characters, and it takes a lot of inward
Suhani
looking
from
at,
Saathiya.
and Suhani from Saathiya. I think they were all very progressive women. You know, you were portraying very progressive women on screen. Today, the woke world talks about it. At that time, it was never discussed with the due. It was not given that kind of due. Of course, the performances were, but not the progressiveness of those parts. What were your thoughts when you were performing these parts?
I think I was inspired by those characters, Karan. I think when a script comes to me or when a character is presented to me for me to play, I always look for something that touches my heart or something that inspires me. Because as people, when we are playing different characters, I also have to become those characters. I have to keep Rani aside and I have to be those characters, and I have to do it in a way that the audience believes that I'm those characters. And for me, if I have to become somebody else, I have to be inspired by her, I have to love her. Only then I can play the part with utmost sincerity and integrity. And that's what I saw in these characters, and I saw that with time changing, with India changing, with the voice, every decade comes with a new voice from the current generation. And I think these parts actually spoke about the modern Indian woman and what she wants to say and what she wants to do and the change that she wants to bring about. Her own desires and the agency and all of that.
Yes,
you know, it's not about following a particular protocol, or I would say the whole patriarchal system of what we are taught to do or meant to do. But somewhere these women stood against that. You know, and in their own way, not shouting from the rooftops, but in their own choices, quietly making certain decisions in those characters, in the films, and how the film evolves, how the story moves forward, and what happens in the story, which in turn inspires other women who are watching it, or other girls who are watching it.
I remember while filming Kabhi Alvida, I didn't realize when I wrote the film and that it was going to get so deeply immersive as an experience for the actors. Because I realized that all the characters, Dev and Maya and Rishi and Riya, they got so immersed into those characters that at one point I had to tell Preeti that listen, this is not really happening. We're shooting a movie. Like, she was like, but why is he cheating on me? So I'm like, he's not cheating on you. It's the character. Like, you know, she was getting like very personal. Like, when I had to one day take her aside, we went for a walk. I said, it's not Preeti's Insta. This is Riya. It's happening to you. Because I realized at that point, and there were moments, I remember at one point, Abhishek broke down really on set. You know, you remember there was a scene you and him were shooting, and I remember he broke down, and I think there were moments I could see you just looking sullen and sad, and I realized that everyone was going through, like you were going through beats in your head, because the film talks about ground realities, emotional realities, things that people go through, don't like to address, we don't like to acknowledge, we brush them under the carpet, but they are all realities of modern life. And I realized it was a very tumultuous experience.
Yes.
And I think
also for the audience as well.
Yes, it was. I'll never forget when I realized that the film is going to get polarized responses, is that I went to see the first preview of the film with a paid audience, and there was a traditional looking couple watching it, and there's a scene where Dev and Maya are checking into a hotel, and immediately the traditional woman looked at the traditional man and said, like that, like, what's happening? And he said, kuch nahi, dream sequence hai. And when they realized that dream sequence nahi hai, they both got up and walked out. And I remember I was like, oh no, like, you know, like this is also, like, there is judgment, you know, but yet the end of that film gives you hope. And it speaks about love going beyond, that love should be the only reason you walk into a relationship.
Absolutely.
So more power to you, Rani, for portraying those parts. And
thank you, Karan, for writing those parts.
No, I mean, like,
you know,
like,
of course,
it's way back in the
I
past.
always say that we actors, we get opportunity to, you know, do such parts only because the writers and the directors, they write such parts for us. The directors have the faith, the producers have the faith to produce such films. Only then can actors come into the role and can give those characters wings, and give them flesh on screen.
And those wings give you moments on cinema, like I'll never forget that train sequence from Saathiya. Like there is just something organically pure. It's also, I think, it's that zone of performance that you came from that very filmy heroine performance to real natural acting, which you could do. You can do anything. According to me, Rani Mukerji can do anything. But when I see you in Yuva, I see you in Saathiya, I see you in Hey Ram, I see a syntax that is so unusual for that time, for the mainstream movie star heroine of that time. I want everyone to see that moment in Saathiya.
Of course, my God. We were shooting all around Mumbai, in the trains, in Marine Lines. We used to catch the train from Marine Lines and then we used to go up and down, up and down. And it was amazing because as a student, because I'm born and brought up in Mumbai, I used to catch the locals a lot of times to go to town. So just being in the locals, just being there shooting with Shad's madness, with just, trying to get the scene done because, there's like, the time running out. And of course, this was Sing Sound, which is Sing Sound is basically live sound. And there was so much of trains going and coming, crossing us. But I do remember the sound recordist was such a genius that he actually kept all the sound which is live.
Wow.
And today you can't even imagine because the minute you go for a Sing Sound film or you are working on a Sing Sound film, they always say that, there's some external sounds happening, we need to quiet down. And I remember shooting Saathiya in the midst of the local trains and all of that was live sound. So it was like amazing, and I love Suhani's character. I think she's so defiant, and
she has so much chutzpah. Like
and the fact, and she makes the Aditya's character completely squirm because when he says "I love you" and she says, "What does that mean?"
No, but
because she's a doctor.
So?
In her head, she's like, "Okay, these are certain chemical things that are happening in your system. It's not really love."
Yeah.
So that was probably the thing that Suhani was thinking, and I think it's so beautiful because it was a young love story. It was about young lovers who go against their family and they come into a relationship, and it actually showed what challenges couples face when they get married and when the initial dizziness of love, goes away. What is left is, if the love is truthful, if the love is pure, it stays.
Yeah. Wow. That was one tone of performance that started cementing you with every passing performance and year as such a solid actor. Two performances that when I shut my eyes and I think of brilliance, I think of two performances where you portrayed disabilities.
Yeah.
Black and Hichki. Let's go back to Black. Turning point not in your career as a movie star, but like talking about just the brilliance of that performance is yet not saying enough. Like, what was the kind of work, energy, and just feeling? Because I still remember you telling me that when you all saw the film, you and Amit Uncle saw the film, you all hugged each other and just broke down when you saw the copy of the film.
Yeah.
And when two actors have immersed themselves so deeply into that kind of experience and filming, it's only then that you feel like that release is so needed. Tell me about Black.
I think I have to credit Sanjay for every second of that film. The fact that he chose me, I'm very, very grateful, and I'm going to be indebted to him forever for that part. What Sanjay brought as a director, in the scenes that we shot, I think he took the scenes from, say, what we were performing. He made an entire world which was so different. Like, it was the first time that I was working in a film like that, where each day I came on set and I saw the beauty of the set, the kind of detailing that Sanjay did, and it inspired me every second to give my best. And Sanjay coming on set and the way he used to interact with me, the way he used to interact with every actor on set, inspire them to do their best. I think Sanjay has some special quality that he really makes you immerse in the character and takes you to the depth of your own self to actually figure what else is there. Like even if I don't know that it exists within me, Sanjay will make sure that he taps into that. And I don't know how he does it, but he does it. He creates an atmosphere that takes you to that place in your life or in your performance of that particular scene that Rani, you have to give your best. And he does that with every actor of his. But the process of Black was very different because when I met all of them,
Everyone who's visually challenged.
everyone who's challenged with seeing, with talking, with hearing, and I interacted with them because by then I had learned the sign language. Because I had to go through 6 months of training of learning the sign language to be able to communicate with them, because I needed to spend time with them to, observe them, how they interact, what are their movements, how do they look, because there is no, if your world is black, how do you react to as a simple thing of get me a glass of water?
Yeah.
Or, I'm watching the beach. How do you comprehend that? Or I'm going from, say, Juhu to Bandra. How do you even comprehend something as simple as that? And they go through their lives with that. But what was amazing about them was that they were so self-reliant. They had so much pride in them for who they are. And the fact that they had overcome so many obstacles in their life, and that gave me the power to be Michelle McNally.
Yeah.
That gave me the spirit of Michelle McNally because I saw that they didn't want sympathy. They didn't want you. They were cracking jokes. They were saying things which Sanjay and me used to crack up because when they used to sign and I used to understand what they're saying. And Sanjay will, did he actually say this? And I said, yeah. And they were like things which used to be bizarre. So I think the spirit of Michelle came from the fact that I spent a lot of time with them and I learned that. But of course, working with Mr. Bachchan, I think that for any actor is, I think, a turning point in their career. And especially Mr. Bachchan in a role like what he did as Debraj was something that was, I would say, a masterclass every day coming to set. And to watch Mr. Bachchan do his bit, with Sanjay inspiring us day in and day out. I think that was, in my career, it's one of those magical films or those moments that I felt extremely spiritual and grateful because you suddenly start realizing in life that there is so much to be grateful. To be grateful of the fact that you have your 6 senses, you can see, you can hear, you can talk, you can walk. You can use your arms. Like I used to have days where my arms used to hurt because I used to keep on learning how to do my sign language and you require your arms for that.
Yeah.
And I used to wonder that, oh my God, they have to sign through the day because that's the only way they can communicate. So it was like a eye changer for me. It was like, my whole life, I became a different Rani then.
And you think that all that truckload of work, that emotional investment, I'm sure Black didn't leave you for years after you even finished performing that part. Because a character like that doesn't leave you very easily. Of course, it increases your empathy level, it increases your ability to take on any character in the world. Did all that work that you put into Black also come in complete handy when you were performing the part for Hichki?
Yes,
because that
absolutely.
was another disability,
Yes.
Tourette's, that you were portraying.
Yes.
Totally different in texture, in syntax, but also needs a lot of personal investment.
Absolutely. And what was shocking for me is that at that point of time, hardly people knew about Tourette's.
Yeah.
Nobody knew. And I was like, really? People don't know about Tourette's? So for me, doing Hichki was also a reason where I wanted to tell people that this is something that people have and they are living their lives with it, because it was a book inspired by Brad Cohen. And he unfortunately couldn't come to India because I wanted to do a lot of research with him. Because it was inspired by his book. But, doing those Zoom calls with Brad and interacting with him and talking to him about his emotional journey from the time he was a kid, I think that made me understand that what people go through when people don't understand. People don't show empathy, people laugh at you. And how does one deal with it? And you need a lot of superpower from inside, strength, that resilience, to be able to fight that day in and day out. It's not like just once in a while it'll happen. It happens to you every day, and how do you go through life with that? So I think these are characters that have inspired me personally for me as a person to be inspired by those characters. And I'm so happy that I could bring them to an audience and for them to watch and be inspired.
Absolutely. Black and Hitchki will always be tent pole moments in your career. Let's have a look. Did it break your heart when you didn't win the National Award for Black?
I think it broke heart of all my fans. It broke my father's heart. It broke my mom's heart. I think the way I was and the way I've conducted my career, my life from the time I was a teenager, I started off being an actor because my mom asked me to be an actor. And I realized that through the work that I could do, I could probably give my parents a better life and see them happy and comfortable. And that was my dream for a few years that I kept working in films. Then when I realized that this is a serious profession and I used to get fan mails, that time there was no social media. We would only get to know through fan mails. And through my fan mails, I realized how important my fans believe in my work and how important it is for me to give them back what they want from me, and I need to do better films, better roles, better performances. And that's when I started understanding the seriousness of the profession. And when I started doing that, I think I had my blinkers on like a horse, and what I saw was just moving ahead, wanting to make my audiences happy, wanting to do the best for my films and make my directors happy because they are my first audience. And that was something that I kept doing with or without awards, because my goal was not to win an award so that it makes me happy today. I think winning awards is more about the recognition that the entire team of that film gets. Because if you are recognized, the team feels elated, the audience feels elated. But as an actor, I have to constantly keep working.
But it hurts.
It does hurt, but it doesn't become a criteria.
Specifically because that year Mr. Bachchan and Sanjay won.
Yes.
And everyone felt, not just the fraternity, the audience space, everyone. Sometimes it's not in anyone's control, of course. Awards are...
But Karan, I think it's good that it happened because
Why would you say that?
very earlier on in my life, I realized that even after you do your best work, you might not get the recognition that you deserve. And probably somebody else's performance is better than yours.
Yes.
And you have to keep striving for the best. You have to keep working hard. You have to keep doing your best.
Yeah.
And for me, my audience, and I would really, really thank them from the bottom of my heart, Karan, because from the time, because I've literally grown up. These 3 decades is literally me growing up from being a 17-year-old to being 47 today. I've literally grown up in cinema.
Don't say that. Your mom will be unhappy. You're not meant to divulge your age, Rani, so openly like this.
So these 3 decades, my audiences have accepted me in every phase of my life. They saw me as a teenager. They saw me becoming a young girl, a woman, a wife, a mother. And nothing has come in the way of my audience to believing in my work and appreciating my work. They have helped me shatter the glass ceiling, as they say. We don't shatter those ceilings. It's our audience that helps us shatter those glass ceilings because they accept us in those roles. They accept us in every phase of our life. And I can only thank them for that they see me, they see my character. They don't see what I am doing personally in my life. Because for the actors, it never comes in the way of the actors.
Yeah.
It's always questioned. The women are always judged. And I'm happy that my audience has not judged my personal life.
No, they never have and they never will. And it's that belief that the audiences have. You didn't just shatter the ceiling, you reached the ceiling with your performance in Mrs. Chatterjee versus Norway. And that won you your first national award. I know we could call it delayed gratification, but it was a big moment. Specifically, not just being your first, you won it in the same year as Shah Rukh. I was there in the same room, and I felt for all of us, it was like the coming together of the Kuch Kuch Hota Hai trio, all winning national awards. To me, it was one of the most emotional moments of my life. Really, it felt so. And seeing you win that award, it made me feel so, so proud. What did it feel like for you? And that performance, before we talk about the national award and your first win, that film, I remember you showing me the film in the closed room of an edit room at MA Entertainment. I was watching it, you wanted me to see it. And I'm a parent by then, and I remember being a puddle because I have just wept and wept and wept because I cannot even believe what it feels like for a parent to just see their children I'm a mom and a dad, right? So I'm a combination of both. So I felt every beat of that performance. I felt that you had immersed yourselves into every existing mother in our motherland. And it was just such a powerful portrayal of a absolutely helpless mother. And you being a mom, and I know you're a tiger mom, like I know how you are about Adira. I can't even imagine what you felt like every day of that shoot.
It was very tough. And the only person who I placed in that, in Devika was my mom. Because that's the other Bengal tigress who I know.
Yeah.
And my mom who she has lived her entire life because of my brother and me. The way she dotes on us. She, even after my dad passing away, I think what keeps her going every day is the love that she has for us.
Yeah.
And I just had to have her in mind because she is the closest person who I know who could be raised in Calcutta, and she was raised in Calcutta, and she got married at the age of 20 to my dad, and she came to Mumbai and she made her life here. So she was the closest person who I could think of, her dialect, because even today, when my mom speaks in English or Hindi, she sounds Bengali.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Bengaliness in her. And I thought that Devika, being this true Bengali person from Calcutta, moving to Norway to make a family, she reminded me of my mom. And I just imagined if that had happened to my mom, how would my mom be? She would just lose the marbles. She would just go crazy. So I think putting myself in that place, I think would be a bit too much because I think I wouldn't be able to perform.
Yeah.
Because I think that's too deep.
So you modeled your performance on your mother.
So I modeled my performance on my mom. And the way my mom would react to those situations.
Well, I can only imagine if that hasn't happened, but what Krishna auntie would do even today. Leave alone, take a child away from her. I think take a child even from one bedroom to another, I can imagine her going crazy.
Yeah.
But I want everyone to have a look. Mrs. Chatterjee versus Norway, what a performance. Truly, what a performance. I remember once, we've had many candid chats, Rani and I, and I remember saying that Aditya Chopra, who I think is a visionary, a maverick, and probably the first visionary of modern times in Indian cinema, of creating this studio we're all in right now, my teacher, my guide, my everything is your husband, and for that I will be eternally grateful. He's the reason I'm even doing this interview with you today. The irony of that, I will not be lost on me at all. I remember asking you, Rani, he has a spy verse, he has a Dhoom verse. When are you in his universe? And you turned around and you said, darling, I have my own. And you were absolutely right. Mardaani is your female-led cop verse of your own. It's the first, I think this needs a huge round of applause because we talk about all the other universes. We talk about the Singham verse and we talk about the spy verse, the comedy horror verse, but you have been leading a female cop verse. This is part 3, which is releasing on the 30th of Jan this month. And you've led it silently, strongly, never owned it and never made a big deal about it. But part 3, in these times, which is so led by testosterone and alpha male energy, you've been showing that in this verse forever. Before we talk about it, we have to see that one thappad scene and then we'll talk about Mardaani. 1, 2 and 3. When you say kick-ass, this is kick-ass. Rani, something tells me that this is what you want to do on a daily basis to many people. Like, I think this is a vicarious character for you because I can tell that Rani really genuinely wants to go and slap many people, like on a daily basis. I know it. I can feel it in your aura and your DNA. Tell me that Shivani is really actually the closest to you.
Yeah.
Empowered, manic, on a hunt, like a crazy tigress. If anyone defines Rani Mukerji, it is this character of Mardaani. Am I right or am I right?
You are right, darling. And you will only be right because you know me too well.
Yeah, because when you were slapping, I was like, इतनी खुशी रानी मुखर्जी को सेट पे कभी नहीं हुई होगी, barring on this moment.
No, I don't want to lie. I feel very bad when I have to slap an actor.
You are lying.
No, I'm not.
Not this actor, poor fellow.
Yeah.
I really want to know, did you really slap him all those times or it was like touch and
No. Pradeep Da wanted me to slap. And I kept telling Pradeep Da, thoda cheating kar lo. Pradeep Da said, no, I love you, Dada, wherever you are, and I really miss him. But yeah,
But
Dada
he तो
was.
could never turn around and say कि थप्पड़ से डर नहीं लगता.
No, and he, in fact, I was going on apologizing to him when I was slapping him, and he said, नहीं, आप चिंता मत करो, मैंने अपनी वाइफ को बोला है कि रानी मुखर्जी ने मुझे थप्पड़ मारा है. So I was like, okay then.
Maybe he's got a few at home also. So he had come rehearsed.
God, no, but Dada was clear that I had to connect.
But talk Mardaani. I mean, what a fantastic achievement for a female superstar in our country.
That achievement is because of the audience again, because they.
अरे कभी credit खुद ले लो. Audience, you're going on and all this martyrdom we'll keep aside a little bit
But
now.
I really believe that, Karan. I really believe that because.
No. Let's talk about how you should own this. This is your franchise.
Okay. I think let's talk about how Mardaani came into being.
Right.
I think we all remember the Nirbhaya case.
Yes.
And how it shook us all as a nation. I think the sheer audacity in which the crime was committed, it really made us angry. And in our homes, we were feeling the angst. We felt the pain that the child and the mother and the family went through. And it was shocking to us because before that, a crime like this wasn't probably spoken about on media so openly. It was the first time that we got to know about a gruesome crime like that, and it really, it was traumatized. Like we were all traumatized by it. And I remember that time, whether it was Pradeep Da, whether it was Adi, whether it was me, Gopi the writer, I think Mardaani was born out of the sheer anger that we all felt, and it was something that we wanted to say to the audience, we wanted to say to the girls in like India, we wanted to make something that was empowering, that made the girls feel that hope is not lost, and of course to also educate, to create or spread the awareness that these kind of horrible things are happening around us, because many times, women shy away from watching this kind of content, or they feel that, oh my God, this is too disturbing. But I think it was so important to spread the message of awareness, and to protect, because the more conversations we have about these things, the more people get aware of these kind of crimes, because it takes that one wrong time for something bad to happen or something untoward to happen to a person. And I think Mardaani was born out of that rage. And I do feel that rage even today, because the conversation from 2012 to 2026 hasn't changed. We still talk about women's safety, we still talk about the crimes that are being committed, and it's only getting worse. So where does that lead us as a nation? Collectively, I think it's our duty, moral duty, to keep conversing about these things, talk about women's safety, and I think a lot has happened since then. There have been bad touch, good touch, conversations that have started in school. There have been these squads that have started with all the police, whether it's the Nirbhaya squad or the Damani squad.
And also helplines, immediate
helplines. A lot of helplines have been introduced. So I think the more we talk, the more we make people aware, the more conversations like this will happen. And I always want to be the person who wants to champion this cause, because I feel that as much as we do is not enough. And as an artist, I can only express my anger or my grief or my sadness through these parts. And the other thing, give hope, empower the women. And when I take lead and when I take charge, I want the girls to believe that they can too.
Ironically, Rani, in the 80s, in the South, there was Vijay Shanti ji, there was Zakhmi Aurat, there was Phool Bane Angare, and Khoon Bari Maang, Rekha ji. There were so many progressive movies made about empowered women in the 80s. We kind of lost track of that till Mardaani happened. And I'm so glad, because I think it opens doors. Even in our studio, in Yashra Studios here, there is Alpha coming, which is led by a woman again. Yes. And I think Mardaani opened many doors of achievement for acting, for women actors in our country, because it's important that they are front and center, because they are solid performers, they're actors, and in many ways Mardaani has contributed to that. And congratulations. And each time, not only have you raised an important topic, but it is done not just with a mainstream lens, not just with a absolutely commercial venture lens, but also with an important message. And I think that comes because that's your personal belief system as well.
Absolutely. And also, Karan, I do believe that, we as this generation that's coming now, I think we should stop putting labels, because this whole female-oriented film, I think we should stop that chatter and we should just call a film a good film or a bad film.
Yeah.
Because, the more we keep talking about that, it just defeats the purpose on which we keep harping on, that we don't want to let this happen and we keep doing the same thing. When we are writing a thing also, we should stop calling it a female-led film. It should just be a film.
A film, right.
Because it's about a story, and either people like the story or they don't like the story. They like the content or they don't like the content. But this constant pressure of it being a female-led or a male-led film, it just is very tiring. And I think the Gen Z or the Gen Alpha generation, they have to start making that difference.
Oh, they're already starting.
Yes.
I think that kind of awareness is building.
Yes.
Mardaani is a special film. It is the third part of this hugely successful franchise led by you. It releases at a theatre near all of us on the 30th of Jan. Let's have a look at the trailer.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And so much love for the release. This is such an important film, not just because it's a part of a franchise, but because the topic is so essential. The messaging is so important. And I hope it empowers everybody to take up these issues, not just in cinema and storytelling, but also proactively in our day-to-day existence in life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Day-to-day life reminds me and takes me to your day-to-day life. I think it's very essential. We've talked about all your career achievements, the legacy of 30 years, brand Rani Mukerji and what she's brought to the table. But at home, I've seen what Rani is as a daughter, as a wife, and as a mother. Now, you are married to a myth. Conjecture about him not even existing. Though fortunately we do know he does. We've had the pleasure and privilege of actually spending time with him. I'm not sure he will appreciate this question, so you can skip to the good part, which is the next one. Because what is it like being partners with Aditya Chopra?
I think, Adi, you have known him before me. You know how simple he is in terms of he likes to be really basic in his life every day. And I think that that is something that has endeared him, like it's very endearing quality that he has. And that's something that I was drawn to because I come from a very humble and simple background. And the qualities that he had, the way he respected his parents, the way he, went about his daily life, I think that is something that really attracted me to him, so to say, because he didn't come with any, any baggage of being Yash Chopra's son. He didn't come with any baggage of being who he is, a very, very prolific filmmaker, being Aditya Chopra himself. He's really, really very simple. And I think that is what, because if he had even an iota of ego or any iota of air around him, I don't think I would have ever fallen for him. So that's something that I deeply appreciate about him, that he lets me be who I am, because he's so basic and simple. And I think it was meant to be, because when I see him with my daughter, it reminds me of my days with my dad. You know, he reminds me a lot of how my dad used to be. And the kind of time he spends with my daughter, with our daughter, and the way he is with my family, I think that makes me very happy, because it's very important when your husband also respects your family, your friends. And I think Adi has always accepted them with a lot of love. And he lets me do what I want to do. And he empowers me.
He may let you do what you have to do, but I am petrified of him. Because I remember his paranoia of no image getting out, of him not wanting to be at your house, because he used to say, I'm not coming to your house, press hoga niche. And I was like, yeah, press nahi hai. So like he's just so hype. I remember when you all were getting married and I was one of the 18 people at the wedding, and he turned on and told me that if the wedding information leaks, it'll be only because of you. as in me. Because others don't know anybody else. You're the only person who has access to the outside world. Remember, if any trickle of information that leaks, it will be your fault. And I will never forget how stressed I was, because I remember 2 States was releasing, and I had to tell everyone I'm leaving to go out, and everybody felt I was being insensitive to 2 States. Why am I going on the release day of a film that is so close to my heart, a film that is a Dharma production film? I'm leaving. I said, I'm going, I have an event in...
Even my wedding was 2 states.
Yeah, it was 2 states.
2 states, you're going to the other.
I was going from 2 states to the other, and I remember I was lying through my teeth to everybody, and I told everyone I'm going to Manchester. And the first thing I do is I bump into Dabbu uncle, Chimpu, and Chintu uncle at the lounge. And they say, "Kahan ja raha hai?" And I was at the wedding was actually in Italy. So I was saying, "मैं Manchester जा रहा हूँ." So Chintu uncle has done a Spanish Inquisition. Manchester को planes जाते हैं? कब जाते हैं? कैसे connection जाते हैं? कौन से transit से जाते हैं? कौन से terminal से जाते हैं? And I was like, I'm lying. And then finally they've come at the lounge and they were going somewhere else and they said, your flight to Italy. And he said, तू तो Italy नहीं जा रहा, तू तो Manchester, तूने झूठ क्यों बोला? And I was like, oh God, like I was so stressed, you know. And I remember this is all because of the hyperness that I have, because I'm petrified of your husband, and I still am. Even now,
I have nothing to do.
I know you have nothing to do with it, but even now when he calls me and he says, Karan Johar, I know I'm going to get fired. He says my full name only when he has to reprimand me. And I'm 53 and I still...
So much.
He does, and I know that. And if I get reprimanded by anyone, it is your husband. So I'm like, I had to talk about him because he's the other elephant in the room that we have to discuss. But you spoke about yourself, about being... I have to say that your daughter is just an angel. And I'm so glad that my twins... and her have an equation of their own. I think these are legacy friendships. My dad and your father-in-law, us, you and me, you and your husband, and now Yash, Ruhi and Adira. I'm so blessed that we can continue this legacy of love and take it forward. Because it's not just taking it forward for the sake of it. It's also that love going on from decade to decade.
We've been, together for so many years. I think it's our friendship. I think it's... it's just that we've been so intertwined with each other in our careers, in our personal lives, and to yet be friends, I think, it actually goes to say that we do love each other.
And I know how much you love your daughter, and I have a little surprise for you. I have a letter that she's written for you.
Are you serious?
And I know you have no clue about this. And I'm going to read it out to you, and for that I have to change my chashma. And this is Adira's letter to you, to her darling mother. Rani, your mic is gone.
My mic is gone?
Yeah.
Mic is gone.
Yeah. Mine is okay? All right. I'm going to read it out. This is probably the first time we're hearing from Adira. Okay. Hello, Mama. First of all, I just want to say how much I love you. You're the best mother in the world. We have shared countless memories together, joyful, tearful, and of course, funny. There are some qualities I like about you, some qualities I don't, and some qualities I've inherited from you. Some qualities I've got from you are my acting, dancing, and painting skills. One quality I don't like about you, but have got from you, is your short temper. We might be a bit different, like how you like bold colors and I like pastels. But at the same time, we are quite similar in many ways. Like our looks, she's gorgeous. That's my traits, habits, and skills. There are also some qualities that I have, but you don't have, like my school math skills. When I grow up, I hope to be kind, confident, loving, intelligent, and stylish, just like you. Setting everything aside, we are of the same blood, we are mother and daughter, and will have an everlasting bond forever. I love you so much, Mama. Love, your favorite, your beloved daughter, Adira.
Oh my God, it's so cute. Oh my God. When did you...
You take the mic first, nobody can hear you.
I don't even know where the mic
It's here, I'll get it for you.
Oh my God. Surprise.
I know you had no clue,
Yeah.
but that's why we saved the best for last.
Oh my my God, that is so sweet.
She is just a beauty, and she's one of the most kind, gentle, soft-hearted. I mean, such a blessing. Adira is a personality, and I love that she is obsessed with food just like her father is. So one thing about the Chopras you have to know, and I've grown up in that house, that when you're at breakfast, we discuss lunch. When you're at lunch, we discuss dinner. And food is a big part. Food and film is what defines the Chopra Khandan. And that's the one thing, Adira, I was surprised. We were in London together once, and she knew my two bhola bachchas who know nothing about anything, I want to tell you. She was quoting all the fancy names of the menu, and she knew everything about food. And both Rani and I started laughing because I said, my God, you know, this chip, this block, it just goes together. She is truly, truly a chip of the Chopra block.
Truly Yash Uncle's granddaughter.
Yes, she is.
Truly. Because sometimes I actually wonder that is she a reincarnation of Yash Uncle? Because she reminds me so much of Yash Uncle.
Right.
You know, she's very creative. She also writes really well. She's a good storyteller. And I think she gets it from Yash Uncle and from her dad.
Well, we are all a result.
This is really amazing. And I'm wondering that she has not told me about this.
She has not. That means she can keep secrets, much like her mother.
Oh my God.
Much like her mother. Another thing you all both have in common.
Yeah.
Rani, I have to say that we are here at a very emotional place. We are here at the center of YRF. I'm a filmmaker because of the man behind the studio, Yash Chopra, his son, and the legacy of Yash Raj Films. You have taken it forward in your own way as an individual actor also, carving your own journey, making your own way forward, carving this brilliant 30-year career, and here's to 30 more. We have a special film releasing, but this year is special because we celebrate 30 years of the glorious, the beautiful, and the mega talented Rani Mukerji. And it has been an honor, a privilege, and completely my pleasure to go down memory lane to talk about this exalting, beautiful, and solidly sincere journey that you have had in the movies. I just have one request from your fans, who you love and adore, is just make many, many more movies. We need to see more of you on celluloid because every time you come, you sparkle. Thank you, Rani. Thank you so much. But we have a special something. We need to celebrate this with some of your favorite food, which is a cake. We're going to cut a cake because we have to celebrate the 30 years of Rani Mukerji. Can we get the cake on, please? Give me that. That's why I said my default mechanism was to sing.
Now after 30 years, now 30 more years. So it's...
I can't tell you...
Mardaani 3 is my first film now.
I can't tell you how good this cake is, by
You all
the way.
must have, please. I'm going to come and give it to all of you all.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for joining us today. Truly means the world to Rani and me. And Rani and I really are truly blessed to have all of you. We have so many friendships and relationships in this room.
All of them. They've been with me in my journey for last 30 years. Upala, I can see here. All of them. They've all... Joita. I just saw Joita somewhere. She just popped up and then she went back. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many of them I can see. Oh
Thank
my
you.
God. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Much love. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I need all your love and blessings for the next 30. Where are the Gen Z journalists?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.